Hey y'all, it's Austin, back here with a little mod for the 2nd and 3rd gen Tacoma. We're going to be installing extended rear brake lines. Items in white are required, items in blue are recommended. This modification is necessary for anyone over 2 inches of lift or with extended travel rear shocks. Jumping right into it, I've got the left side of the truck jacked up, so the left side of the axle is drooping, as this is where the brake lines are. And they're showing pretty tight, not terrible, but it's also not at full droop. So you can see we're going to fix that today. Jumping right into it, grab your 10mm brake line wrench. Go ahead and break those lower brake lines loose. I chose to start at the bottom. You don't necessarily have to, you can start at the top. But if you work at the bottom, then they will kind of drain out as you're undoing them at the top versus leaking out at the top and dripping down all over you. There are 2 metal C-clips that hold these brake lines to that bracket. So go ahead and hit those with a hammer. I'm using a flathead here. It's a little bit hard to get in here. Also, I'm trying to film, so you might be able to get in here a little bit better. So go ahead and get that one out. You can see some of these take a little bit extra time. So once you get those out, go ahead and pull those out. And then go ahead and completely remove the metal hard line from the rubber hose line. Repeat for the other side. Go ahead and get this undone and then pop that brake line out. I kind of pulled them down so that they would drip into my bucket. Now we're going to go ahead and break the top hard lines loose. This access is not fun. I also managed to knock a light over in the process of doing this. Just make sure your brake line wrench is fully seated on there before you start applying heavy torque. Remind yourself of this torque too when you go to re-put these back on, because you definitely do want them to be quite tight. So access on getting these C-clips is pretty terrible, if I'm honest, on the top side. I'm using a long flat piece of steel coming in from the driver's side rear wheel well for the first one. The second one, I'm coming in from below and then kind of coming in from the top as well. So honestly, whatever you can do to get these, really long screwdriver, anything, honestly. Now I'm taking the 10mm nuts off of the hard lines at the top. Let's go ahead and just pop those out. Pop the left side out, pop the right side out. We already got them loosened up, so they should just come out by hand. And then you're gonna have a lot of brake fluid dripping down. And here's your comparison between the 2 brake lines. OEM one is obviously the dirty one, and then the stainless steel braided one. So we're going to get the new lines in. I'm going to start at the top and go ahead and thread those in by hand. Get both sides in, right side. Let's go ahead and get those hand tightened in. And then we're going to get our C-clip brackets in. Like removing these, getting them back in here at the top is not terribly fun. The access is really tight. You can see I'm using a really precision hammer here, a pair of pliers. Honestly, just whatever you can do to get up in there to hit that. I had to hit it quite a few times to get that to seat properly. This one on the left side is a little bit easier. I was able to get the hammer in there, so just go ahead and get that seated in 100%. These Headstrong brake lines have an 18mm on one side and then the 10mm on the truck. Just go ahead and support with some form of pliers or something like that for whatever brake lines you do end up purchasing, so you're able to kind of tighten down that brake line. And make sure that this is quite tight. Brake lines are at very high pressure. Coming down to the bottom, I'm tracing the left brake line down to the left bracket and the right brake line down to the right bracket. Make sure you keep these in the correct order, then that way they're not tangled, as well as your ABS functions properly. Let's go ahead and jump down to the bottom. I'm getting those C-clips in down there. These are a lot easier to access. I can actually push them down quite a bit with just my hands. And then I'm able to get the hammer in there and tap those down. And a lot easier than the top access. Once those clips are in, go ahead and get your 2 wrenches and go ahead and snug up that hard line. Make sure, like I said, you get these quite tight. They do have a lot of pressure running through them, so you want to make sure that these are tight. We're getting our final brake line tightened up here. Like I said, get them pretty tight. So what I'm doing here is I'm going to do cleaning before I do the brake bleed. And this is going to allow me to find any leaks if we don't end up getting these tight enough. So obviously now you want to perform a standard brake bleed for the rear 2 wheel cylinders in the back. Whichever model you have, Sport, normal SR5, or 2D Off-Road and Pro, we have videos for those. I have them linked in the description for how to perform a brake bleed for either of those models. It is imperative that we get that completed. So now after I've done the bleed procedure, I'm checking to make sure I don't have leaks either at the top or the bottom lines. So that's why we cleaned prior, so we can check to see if there were leaks. I don't see any, so we're kind of good to go here. And here's an after shot. I have the truck flexed out. Like I said, it's not at full droop, but you do get to see that extension and how much longer these brake lines are than the factory ones. Just wanted to say thank you so much for watching. Hope this is helpful to anyone with a larger than 2-inch rear lift or anyone with extended travel rear shocks. If you want to join the Discord to get some free stuff or chat with Tyler and I, feel free. If not, see you guys next time.